Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. Welcome to this live. Sorry for the confusion earlier. Here I am, and thank you for coming. It's me again, Chocolate Geisha, back for another video. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe during this time. Corona is still going on. Please make sure to wash your hands 6 feet away. Things are getting back to normal slowly but surely, but please still continue to be careful. Please, please. All right, well, I want to extend my greetings and welcome, especially to my new subscribers. Hello, those of you who are here in the chat. Yes, so before I start, I want to give, how should I say, a little intro about why I chose to share this story. With everything going on in America right now, there's a lot of protests, there's a lot of rallies going on regarding police brutality, particularly towards African Americans. Hashtag Black Lives Matter, right? Say his name, say her name. And this has been going on for a long time. I know it hasn't caught a lot of momentum in the media for the past few years, but it's really picked up. It's peaked as of recent, I believe. So I thought that this topic became more relevant based on current events. So with that said, quarantine has really given me some time to reflect. It's hard to avoid all of these unfortunate circumstances in the news. You go to Instagram, you go to Twitter, you go to Facebook, it's everywhere. And I thought that it made a lot of sense to share this story with you guys. So here we are. All I ask is that you guys wait till the very end to ask your questions, because I really want to get through this full thing and then assess what you guys have questions about. So let's get started. So a little bit about the setting, how our story begins. I had just moved from Gunma Prefecture, which was very country, to Tokyo, which is like the biggest city ever. It's actually, I think it's the biggest city in the world, based on population. And what is it, like area statistics? Look that up, don't quote me. But I had just moved from Gunma to Tokyo, so it was a really interesting transition. I was living with a roommate about an hour outside of Tokyo, but it still was technically Tokyo. And this happened in October of 2019, so fairly recent, less than 6 months ago. No, it's more than 6 months ago, but still fairly recent. Okay, so let's see. It was about 9 p.m. on a very rainy October evening. I was riding my bicycle, my little pink bicycle I call Amy Rose. I was riding Amy Rose to the convenience store to get some rice balls. And rice balls are delicious in Japan. If you ever go, just try the different flavors of rice balls. Amazing. But I'm riding my bicycle, and in my peripheral, I see that there's a police like moped, not a car, but like it was like a moped, like a scooter. And since I'd been in Japan, I was not really concerned about the police. Being from America, my relationship with the police was not like a fearful one, but I just was very nervous. But being in Japan, I really didn't worry about the police like that, because if anything, I felt more safe than I had in America. So I just had my eye, I noticed the police, but I just kept riding. But then they were like, "Sumimasen, tomate kudasai," like, "Excuse me, please stop." And I was like, I'm getting deported. That was my first time. I was like, I'm getting deported. It's happening. I'm getting deported. But I was like, okay, calm down. Yeah, my heart dropped. I was scared, just, it was nerve-wracking. I was like, God, what are they stopping me for? But interestingly enough, contrary to what I thought at the moment, when I finally stopped, set my bike to the side, like put up a little kickstop, and then I got off my bike and I was like facing them, and he was approaching. It was like two gentlemen. And one of them was like, "Hey, do you live nearby?" I was like, "Yeah, I live here." And then he was like, "Okay, is this your bike?" I was like, "Yes, it's my bike." He's like, "Did you buy this bike?" Like, it was all about the bicycle. Like, he was curious about the bicycle, and apparently that's the reason why he stopped me. He was like, "Do you have a certificate for owning this bike? Where did you buy this bike?" X, Y, and Z about the bicycle. And I was like, "Yes, I bought this bicycle with my own hard-earned yen, okay? I had the certificate." And he was just asking me, like, basically about my bike. Um, so statistically, Japan has pretty high theft. That's like one of the major crimes that goes on there. And honestly, I don't think that he realized that I was a foreigner when he stopped me. Mind you, I had like a really long dress on and a really like long wig, so you can't like see my face or like my skin for that matter. So I think that when he stopped me, he probably just assumed that I was like a Japanese girl, but I'm not a Japanese girl. But he was relieved to know I spoke Japanese. So he and I chatted a little bit. He was like, "Okay, well, sorry to cause you any trouble, but we've been having like a lot of theft these days, and we're just every few bikes, we just check to make sure that the registration actually belongs to the person who's riding the bike because it's illegal to ride someone else's bike." Bikes are really big in Japan, for those of you who don't know. So he's like, "Yeah, we're just checking up on the registration. We'll just look up, your serial number because bikes have like license plates like cars do. Crazy, I know." He's like, "Oh, we'll check your serial number, and if the name matches the serial number as you said, then we won't have a problem." And I was like, "Cool, bet, no problem." And he's like, "Okay, well," and then we chatted a little bit about like the typhoon, like small talk. We talked about the typhoon. We talked about like my Japanese. He's like, "Oh, I'm so happy you spoke Japanese. I was so nervous that you wouldn't speak Japanese, and we kind of like were in a situation." I'm like, "No, I understand. You're just doing your job. If theft is a problem, you got to check." I don't mind. I mean, I bought it. So I don't have a problem with proving that I bought it. Like, I bought this. He's like, "Okay, well, you're free." And that was it. I went to the convenience store, and as I was buying like my 4 rice balls, I was like, wow, that really happened. And mind you, like I didn't have my ID either, which was like a big no-no. If you live in Japan and you're not Japanese, like always, always bring your Zairyu card, like your residence card, because that is like your proof that you're not like an alien, just like living like an illegal alien living there. So make sure to bring your card. But I didn't have mine, but I was able to kind of sweet talk my way out of that predicament. And they were really understanding too. They're like, "Okay, well, a typhoon's coming, so make sure to get home soon." I was like, "Cool, thank you." And then yeah, that was basically it. That's all. Um, let's see. I'm trying to look at my notes so I don't miss anything. I will say I think there might have been, I don't know if he knew that I was not Japanese based on like my looks. It was nighttime, it's like 9 p.m., so there's no daylight. And like I said, I had like really long, like straight hair, by the way, and like a long dress that you can't really see like any of my features. So I don't know if he knew I was black or not, but um, I don't think he was trying to like racially profile me. I don't know if he was. Maybe he thought maybe I was a tourist, and I that there's no way that could be my bike, and it was like a personal bike. It wasn't one of those rental bikes because they have those as well. Yeah, I really don't know, you guys, but either way, it ended amicably. There was no issues. I didn't end up being some kind of um, statistic in any way. It went very smoothly. And like he said, I'm sure he looked up my serial number, saw my name, and just didn't bother me past then because I didn't get anything in the mail. So, yeah, that's the story. And the moral of the story is encounters with the police in America and Japan are not the same. The expectations are different. And I think that the history of racism in America greatly contributes to the relationship with the police that a lot of people of color have. Because here in Japan, like, I've never felt intimidated by the police. Like, my years and years and years of conditioning being in America, I've always like had my eye out. Like, I've always been able to recognize them, but I've never felt nervous about being around policemen in Japan compared to America, where I'm just like walking on eggshells whenever I see a policeman nearby. Um, let's just say that it's a lot safer here in Japan. In Japan in general. I say here like I'm there. In Japan, I did feel a lot safer. Like I could walk out at night. I could go to whatever location and not worry about being stopped by the police, mainly because the police, like, there's not that history of racism, and the police don't carry guns or deadly weapons, you could say. They do have like little like baton bats, but they don't have guns and all these dangerous things that police here carry. And Japan as a society is a lot more community based as well. So like the idea is not like, oh, my life is in danger, my life is in danger. The police in Japan are really like, okay, what is the best for the community? How can we better the community? What is in the interest of the community? And that's how they operate. They truly are I think, the example of protect and serve. Whereas here in America, people just, it's like they totally, I don't know what's going on in America right now, but it's just, it's it's unprofessional to say the least, because you need to bring all of your inhibitions, you need to leave your inhibitions at the door if you're trying to be a policeman in America. Like what's happening right now is ridiculous, and I'm bamboozled by what's happening right now. It's ridiculous. Um but yeah, that's really it. If you're ever coming to Japan, you're most likely not going to have any encounters with the police, especially if you're a tourist, because the police really don't go looking for trouble like that. If anything, and if the police see a foreigner, most likely they're thinking that this foreigner is either a tourist, so they're here temporarily and they're probably not getting into mischief because it's a temporary visit, or they think you're an international student and you don't want to lose your student visa, and you're not trying to cause problems, so they're not going to bother with you. The people who should be the most worried about being in Japan are other Japanese people, because Japanese people have very high standards for other Japanese people. But as far as for foreigners, like we're really not like in danger the way that I'm realizing more and more that we are in America. I've been watching, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there's a channel called Black Experience Japan. And I've been binge watching his videos, and they share like my same sentiments, that the environment, the atmosphere in Japan is a lot more relaxed. It's not so it's not so upfront about like the fear, like the fear of black people. If anything, it's more so like this is a foreigner, this is a native, and that's kind of the discretion there. But it's also because the history of racism just really isn't there. It's not. So they're just trying to, how can I say? It's just not there. Foreigners are, I honestly, being here in America with everything happening now, I'm just like, is Japan the move? Is Japan the move? Is that 2021? Are we going back? I don't know. I'll keep you guys tuned. But yeah, everything that's been going on right now, just, it has me questioning everything. It has me questioning everything. Like the reasons I came back and everything. Like I wasn't gonna share this with you guys so early, but I'm stuck. Like I am in a state of confusion and indecisiveness, because I thought that this was the move, but I'm really reconsidering, honestly. Honestly. But anyway, that's the story. That's basically the story. If you guys have any questions, I'll be answering. I'm going to be reading these comments too, so I can see what you guys are saying. But that's basically the gist about my experience with the police. Not negative at all. I didn't have any problems, didn't cause any problems. So, yeah, police are super chill. Okay, I'm gonna read some of these. But hello to everyone who's here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad you liked the story. Thank you. Oh, there's no need to be worried about me. It was a happy ending. It was a happy ending. And yeah, so it was positive. It was a positive experience, and I didn't have any kind of negative association. If anything, when police are around, I feel like I'm truly safe, as opposed to here in America. Here in America, America just, we're just all over. We need to get our lives together, because here in America, I have no words. Dan says, "Do you think gaijins are most likely to get stopped by the police?" No. I'm not sure if you heard what I mentioned earlier, but I believe, just based on my understanding of Japanese people, if they see a foreigner, they're gonna I like A, assume that you're a tourist, or B, assume that you're an international student. But most Japanese people don't really want to they don't want to bother foreign people who are visiting here, mainly because like they'll assume that you're not Japanese, so it's just not worth it to try and engage with you. But B, because a lot of us come via like visas and other things like that, like we're trying to protect that visa and not like violate any of those requirements to keep it. Because if you have any kind of really anything on your record, like you're out. Like they don't play. I had a friend from college who was trying to get into Japan and he couldn't because he had a DUI. Even though it's not anything criminal, like they would not give him a visa. So to this day he has not been to Japan. Like they're very strict about things like that. But as far as people getting in, they know that if you're in the country, chances are you're clear. So they're not going to give you problems like that. Whereas here in America, they just like look at your skin and they're like, "Oh, up to no good, up to no good." Like I'm sorry. I'm trying not to get I don't want to make this too political, but I'm just like it's like I forgot. I don't know if I forgot how bad things are here, but like I remember now. It's like, "Oh yeah, thanks for jogging my memory. Things are shit over here." I don't want to get demonetized, but you guys, I'm just like perpetually rolling my eyes. My eyes like stay at the back of my head because of everything. Anyway, yes, Black Experience Japan. They've got great videos, great content. As of recent, I've gotten more into their videos. Definitely worth watching. Oh, yes. Seikon Talks says, "Has Black Experience Japan show any protests on behalf of Black lives?" Yes, they have. They've been good at that. They've shown like tributes and protests, etc. So it's worth watching, you guys. Sarah Anderson says, "I want to leave America and go to Japan." Honestly, I'm like on the fence right now. You guys, lo and behold, let it be known that I'm going through a quarter life crisis. My birthday is July 2nd, and I'm turning 25. I'm turning 25. So I'm really at a point where it's like, okay, I've got my education, I've got like the money, but like what do I want for my life? And I'm just like really trying. I'm at a crossroads right now, and everything going on in America is just like really turning me off. Like I don't know if I want to like sign up for anyway. I don't want to get too into it, but it's just my eyes are like reopened to everything going on, and I don't like what I see. I don't like it. Let's see. Dean says, "Cops, more so racist people, make it hard to be Black in this country, even though we didn't do anything. It's so frustrating." Yeah, just like bias. I grew up in a suburb of San Francisco, and it's a predominantly white community. Like I was like the token blackie of like most of my situations, most of the places I go, and most of my friend groups, I'm like the Black person. And I always get like, "Oh, I always thought you were mean. I always thought you would be mean. Oh, you speak so well. Oh, you're so this. Oh, you're so that. I wouldn't have guessed X, Y, and Z." But it's always some like racial expectation, some like racist expectation. Like, "Wow, you speak so well." And I'm like, we go to the same school. Like, why wouldn't I speak the way you do? Like, it's, it's so, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Whereas, like, in Japan, like, I don't know if it's just like the high literacy rate, but people just expect you to be able to speak well. And people are impressed when I speak Japanese mainly because it's a foreign language, but I don't get like all these negative stereotypes. Like, I don't know. It's just hard to be Black anywhere. It's hard to be Black anywhere. But you kind of have to pick and choose your battles that way. You have to pick and choose what you want to tolerate, what's worth the fight to you, you know? Takira says, I cried because all of their answers was about safety. That's what all of them said. I was like, OMG, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You honestly feel like, if anything, you'll be discriminated because you're a foreigner, but not because you're black. Like, your blackness isn't going to be the source of the problems that you encounter in Japan. Like, for example, actually, no, let me bite my tongue. um, But yeah, that's very true. That's very true. You're not going to be so openly discriminated against because you're black. It's a lot of it is under the rug, I'll say, but it's not just about black people. It's mainly like xenophobia in general, like non-Japanese people. So Chinese people, Korean people, European people, American people, black, white, they're all kind of like thrown in the same box. Whereas like here, it's like specifically black discrimination. Whereas in Japan, it's just like, oh, this person is not Japanese. They don't know us. They don't know. But here in America, it's like you can be born here, you could be raised here and still be treated like you're not like a second class citizen. Like, what is that? Like, you guys, I'm disgusted. Like, I'm sick. I'm sick. Social media is depressing. Preach to the choir because I've never really had to take breaks from social media like that before. Like, it's just it's overwhelming. Like, it's overwhelming, especially being black because I have all these friends who are reaching out to me now, like, Deidre, are you okay? Deidre, I've seen the news. Deidre, are you like, I'm like, just leave me alone. Oh my God, like, leave me alone. Like, it's just, it's so overwhelming. I mean, I appreciate them reaching out. Let me not be mean because I know a lot of it's like in good spirit. They're just like checking up because they know, like, as a black person, it's probably hitting me differently than it does them because most of the people who are checking up are like my like Japanese and white friends. It's just it gets overwhelming because it's just like I didn't ask for this level of attention. Like, I want to live my peaceful life, but I feel like I had that in Japan and I don't have it here. Anyway. Citrus says America is a mess right now. Throw the whole country away. Oh my God. I mean, realistically, we can't, right? Realistically, we can't. But I don't even know if there's like what parts of America are recyclable, at least, you know? Like, what parts can we try and like refurbish into something better? I don't even know. But at this point, I don't know. I do not know. Depresso says, yeah, America can really ruin it for you if you go to Japan, because America can really stop you from going by putting BS charge on you, etc. Yeah. America, I feel like also our, like, just the state of the police in general, as far as like trying to meet like quotas for the month and things like that, like pulling people over just so you can say that you had this amount of individuals that you engaged with. It's just it's not working. Obviously, it's not working. The system needs to change, but yeah. Ooh, Simply Annie says, "Sis, you look 18. Thank you." I'm taking that as a compliment now. 18 doesn't feel that far away. Like, it doesn't feel that long ago, but I guess it is now, huh? It's a whole 6 years. 7. God, you guys, quarantine is just deteriorating my mathematical skills. But thank you. Olympia says my birthday is next week and it doesn't feel like it. I am so sorry. I'm sorry for everyone who's had a birthday during quarantine because both my mom and my younger sister, the one who was in the video with me, they both had their birthdays during quarantine and it didn't feel like much of a celebration. But hopefully we can make up for it when the shelter in place is lifted. We can all go out and party properly as we should. Yeah, we can hope. Let me see. Mm-mm-mm. Jayla says, how hard long did it take you to learn Japanese? It took me like, well, I've been studying Japanese for 12 years. Have I been, like, excelling incredibly that whole time? No. There were times where I improved a lot, there were times where I didn't, like, improve that much. There were some times where I even feel like it got a little worse, but it's been 12 years. I started when I was 12, I'm 24. Yep. Yeah, Sarah says wait, oh, no. Okay, LOL saying social media was overwhelming for me too. Taking a break indefinitely. Yeah, for those of you who've seen the last video, I more so just wanna, like, share, like, what's going on with Japanese people who are just, like, have no clue. Because similar to the police situation, the situation as far as, like, racism and, like, systematic racism and discrimination is quite different in Japan. So you kind of have to, like, let people know. You kind of have to educate them on what's going on because they just it's hard to tell why everything's happening if you're not, like, in the pot, you know? You can't tell. But, yeah, just been sharing. I just really wanna tell them what's going on because it's a shame to be ignorant, and, I mean, I feel like being a teacher was part of it, but I just wanna tell them what's going on. Anyway. Oh, Simply Annie says, I've been binge watching your videos for 2 months now. I'm Black British girl learning Japanese, so plan to visit soon. Do they appreciate knowing the language? Thank you. I love you. Oh, thank you. Yes. They love people who speak Japanese. It's really impressive to them. And even just like a little bit of Japanese is considered extremely impressive. So just learn as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. So JSJK says, Hi, I'm from the Caribbean. I want to add my 2 cents. Police here go through a lot of training and education, psychology, sociology, and they're trained to use their weapons and any force lastly. That's the way it should be. That's the way you should not lead with violence. That's not the way to engage with anyone. You should not like guilty until proven innocent is like no, like you don't even know who I am. Like I've seen so many videos. It's like, oh, my gosh, you guys. Anyway, Gurafiku says people always discourage me to go to Japan because they're more racist there, and I'm like question mark. I don't know what's the same level in America and Canada. I mean, I've never lived in Canada, so I don't know what it's like in Canada. But as far as America versus Japan, people are a lot more ignorant as far as like people will act like you're a freaking unicorn, but they're not gonna like use that against you. Like, if anything, I feel like people are more welcoming to me because I'm not like them. Like, people are so much more open to like invite me to things or like give me free stuff or like educate me about like different things. Whereas here in America, it's like I'm just they're like better than me strictly based on the fact that I'm black. So I'll leave that there. I feel like some people like raise me up in Japan because they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this non-Japanese person." And it's really interesting too because I've had situations. I was talking with my friend about this. I've had situations where Japanese people have been like, "Oh, Deidre, you're so Japanese. You're so Japanese." So like Japanese, it's like they don't even see it just as like their color or their nationality. It's more like a frame of mind. They just want you to understand who they are and like respect that, you know? And I've mentioned in some of my dating Japanese men videos that like some of their biggest fears are just that like their culture is going to end with their children because you're with them. But if you respect their culture and you know their culture and you make it a point to like teach that to your children, like they're going to love you. Like why wouldn't they? Like but here in America, there's still just I don't know. We're just really screwed up in the head here in America. Really screwed up. Oh, yes, I just saw that Brianna says, "Give the land back to the indigenous people." Honestly, if I had my way, we'd give it up because it's not like, oh my gosh, this country really like pisses me off sometimes. Really pisses me off. Oh, yes, Cece says Cameroon. Yes, Cameroon. And I just followed what is her name? What is her name? I just followed her. She's another Cameroonian YouTuber who lives in Japan. I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna tag her in this because I want you guys to watch her. Saquon says, "I wish more non-Black friends would reach out." Um, it would be nice. I mean, it's nice for those who you're close to, but it's really weird if you have like a random like friend from high school, for example, that you haven't talked to in like years and years and years, like reach out to you. I mean, maybe some people feel differently, but it's just it feels like that's the only reason they're reaching out to you, which is also like it's I feel like it kind of diminishes the message in a way. That's just me though. I feel like it depends on the person, but that's just me. I don't want you to reach out to me if you haven't spoken to me in like 10 years simply based on the fact that Black Lives Matter is happening. Like I don't feel like that's a good enough reason for you to reach out personally. Maybe that's just me. But if you're my close friend, like I expect you to say something. But if you're I don't know, like if you're like damn near a stranger, like thank you, but like no thank you. Maybe that's just me. Sarah says, yeah, I don't want to raise my kids in America. Honestly, yeah, I've been thinking about that because one, if you guys have seen my why I came back to America video, why I left Japan video, I talked about like how there's like such a like I don't want to say like a negative connotation to like being half Japanese, but like half Japanese people are not given like I feel like the respect that full Japanese people are. But in America, like I don't know if this is like the better option though. It's like which is the lesser of two evils? I don't know. Like no idea. Saquon says, "Do you have a license to ride a bike? Did you ship your bike back?" No, actually. So you don't necessarily need a license. You don't even need a helmet, quite frankly. Maybe I should do a video on bicycle etiquette. I'm gonna take a note. Video on bike etiquette because in Japan it's different from America. And in America, you can get stopped if you're not wearing a bicycle helmet. But in Japan, so basically, elementary school students are not allowed to ride bicycles, like to school, for example. Middle school students are allowed, but with a helmet. High school and above are allowed to ride their bicycles without a helmet. Dangerous, but they're allowed to. So no, I didn't need a license or anything. But when you buy your bicycle, you're expected to sign up like your name and your address, like kind of like a car. You're supposed to tie that bicycle to you because there is a lot of bicycle theft, just so that they know who is who. And you have your serial number, like I think it's a sticker that you put on your bike that they put on your bike. And if you ever get stopped by the police, for example, they just look up that number and you pop up. And that's when they don't give you any problems because they're like, okay, this individual bought this bicycle and they're legally bound to this bike, so there's no problem. So yeah, that's the gist. Let me see. Yeah, quarantine it's been an interesting experience. I'm ready for it to end though. Believe that. Depressa says, I usually learn Japanese by watching Japanese shows, YouTube, and talking to Japanese people and picking up some things. Yep. Honestly, I feel like that's the way I've improved the most as far as speaking goes. I've always had a very strong speaking ability. My weakest has been reading. And my job right now has been helping with reading because emails, emails, emails. But as far as the speaking, getting like watching Japanese shows, mimicking the way that they talk, watching Japanese YouTube videos, especially interview videos like Ask Japanese or BEJ, Black Experience Japan, and talking with friends, like you'll improve so much that way. So yeah, let's see. K Mohammed says, do they have designated bike lanes or do people bike on sidewalks and or roads? So in most places in most big cities, they have bicycle lanes, which are usually on the sidewalk. Usually, there's like a little yellow line split in the middle, and one side will be like people doing like regular like walking by foot, and people who are doing bicycle riding. Sometimes there's none, and you're expected to just ride on the street, but you ride in the direction of traffic. JSJK says, "Have you felt extremely stressed and anxious during quarantine?" I have. I know I have I have after a month. Yeah, extremely, extremely. Um, I miss like going out. The end. I miss going out. So yeah, it's given me some time to really think though. I think it's been necessary. I've had like my quarter life crisis in quarantine where it's like, "Oh my god, this is like my anniversary of life, like 25. Like what am I going to do?" Um and it's given me time to really decide what I want to do. And I'll be sharing with you guys. I'll be sharing more. I see Joe Star says, "How are the clubs in Japan?" The clubs are lit. The clubs are lit a lot of the time, especially if you're foreign. You just get preferential treatment. Preferential treatment. Like, if you are black in a hip hop club, all of your drinks are paid for. Is all I'm gonna say. At least that's my experience. It's just been very fun, very fun. Lots of attention, lots of positive attention. You feel like a little celebrity in there. Yeah. Aaron says, "Just because Japan committed a lot of war crimes in the past doesn't make it the worst." Yeah, I mean, Japan is not innocent. I mean, I don't think any country is. America has racism, but Japan has like colonialism and all these other things and negative relationships with other countries. So, I mean, it's a tit for a tat. Like, they're both negative if you're looking for a negative. But as far as practicality in the modern day, given all of those circumstances, I don't know. I mean, it's open to interpretation, but yeah. Oh, Praveen Karta, sorry I'm late. No problem, no problem. I've never been to Pakistan. I've never been. I've never been before. So Kagami Dayo says, as someone has someone tried to gaslight you for feeling some type of way about racism or colorism? Um, in America, yes. In Japan, no. I feel like in Japan, especially because I'd like to think the people that I meet like really respect me as a person. Like they're very open to being educated about racism. Like for example, those of you who saw my very last video, Kokujin Kara no Oshirase, which is basically an announcement from Black people. A lot of my Japanese friends came to me. They're like, "Deidre, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Can I share this with all my friends so they can know?" Like they're very open to being educated. Whereas here in America, it's like, no, racism is dead. I've had some friends who like feel that way. And it's like, my good sir, you are incorrect. But yeah, yeah, definitely. It's the lesser of two evils. You just have to pick. Just have to pick. Um, yeah, raising kids is hard in general, honestly. I feel like it's gonna be tough either way. You just have to pick not just what's best for your kids, but what's best for you. Because they're if you raise if you don't want to be raising kids if your own life is compromised, because you're just you're just letting them they're inheriting that from you, like I don't want to live my life so shrunken up and like living in fear, like, oh my gosh, what's the best option because I'm scared. Like, no, like you should do what makes you happy and just make it work, because where there's a will there's a way, and I believe that. So yeah. Not gonna Kagami Daya says, "Not gonna lie, I thought people would try to pull an all lives matter." I've had some friends like that. I actually recently recently on Facebook, I had one friend that says, "Blue lives matter. If you don't believe this, unfriend me." And I was just like, and then I unfriended her. I was like, I mean, I don't want any problems. I'm not a belligerent person. Like I really don't like conflict like that. Like I avoid it if I can. But if you're looking for it, and if you tell me that it's a worthy basis to stop being your friend, then I'm gonna just do as you ask. Um, let's see. Annette Rose says, "I'm sorry if you already mentioned this, but there is a problem with foreigners and the police in Japan because I heard about the protests about that." I mean, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I feel like Japan has a very unique relationship with protest in general. So I feel like it has more to do with the protest than the foreigners. But that's kind of another video. That's another video. We'll just say that. Yeah. Black lives do matter. Black lives do matter. They do. I think if you don't think Black lives matter, then you're not paying attention. That's what I think. Anyway, um, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, the Aquael says, just wanted to say I think your hair is cute today. Thank you. Thank you. I felt like a ponytail, but yeah. JSJK says, I saw an article, but I think it might be misleading. Has there been Black people protesting in Japan? Is it true? There have. There have been Black people and Japanese people. There have been people of all ethnicities um, protesting in Japan. So it's not just Black people, but as far as I'm aware, they've been like more peaceful than anything. Like they haven't been like belligerent, like burning flags and burning down courthouses and things like that. But they've been protests, but they haven't been um, so aggressive. Sekon says, I grew up so positive about dark skin. I had to be more sensitive to people with self-esteem issues. Yeah, I feel like it's easy to feel like you're not the ideal being dark skinned, but the reality is it's not true. It's not true what people say about being black. Like being black is actually very cool. I think I mean, of course I'm biased. Like I'm a black woman, so I'm going to be obviously biased towards black people, but I don't think being black is bad at all. I think being black is awesome. I think that other races really look up to us in certain ways. And I think that just like how there's lots of benefits to being white and lots of benefits to being Asian and Hispanic, there's lots of benefits to being black. That's it. That's all I have to say. I don't think we're better than other races, but I don't think they're better than us. I'll tell you that right now. I don't think that other races are better than black people. Are you serious? Like I said, I'm not gonna say being black is better than being other races, but being other races is definitely not being better than being black. Cause I'll tell you right now, I ain't never had a sun. I had never had a sunburn in my life, ever in my life. Bing. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. So it's not. It doesn't have to be a competition. This is not a scarcity mindset thing. It's just education, you know. But no, AJ, I do not own a mountain bike. I don't. I know, Annette. I know. I can't believe the statement "Black Lives Matter" is even a debate in America like crazy. Like people don't even like people want to forget that we were literally slaves. Like, do you know what that means? Do you know what that's like? Like, bro, come on. Like that wasn't that long ago either. Come on, generations. Anyway, I don't mean this isn't a political channel, but I'm bamboozled sometimes. Oh, brown Barbie is a given. So beautiful. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, there's one commercial. Maybe I'll post it. Maybe I will post it. It's a commercial for a fiber drink. And actually, funny story. Right when I got back to America, I got an offer to go into the commercial, but I couldn't because I was in America now. I was like, oh, I can't go to this audition. But the audition finally aired and they did choose a black girl. And she is so cute. I'm going to post that. I'm actually going to post it. I'm inspired now. I'm going to post that commercial because I want you guys to see us in these roles where we are equally as beautiful and equally as valued. And she's like kind of towards the front too. I'm like, yes, she's not in the back. She's out showing her beautiful face, beautiful, nice skin, beautiful color. She's not like light skin. No offense to light skin people, but it's important for dark skin representation. Like she's just a beautiful example of what a black woman looks like in a Japanese commercial. I'm like, yes, positive representation. Yes, 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 yes. I'm really happy about that. I've watched it so many times. And like, don't get me wrong, part of me is like kind of like jealous that like it wasn't me, and I'm like, oh, it should have been me. But like, no, it should be the black girl who can fit the role and represent us well, and she did. So That's all I gotta say. Yes, exactly. Zaycon says, I love seeing Black women in fresh fly rolls. Post it. I will. I will. I'll post it. Oh, I will post it. Yeah, honestly, I would have too, but it all happened for a reason. I think that in a way, like seeing her in the commercial made me realize that like it's not this weight is not just like on me to like change Japan. Like it's we're all in this, you know? But it's not like I'm the only one who has power to make change, but like other Black women in the community can make change too, and it just makes me really happy. Like we are all fighting for the same cause, so there's no need for me to try and like one up another Black woman. If anything, like I'm very happy. Like I'm extremely happy, and I'm gonna post it. I will post the commercial, but like stuff like that, stuff like that. Oh, JSJ. Oh, sorry, that wasn't towards me. But yeah, that's the video anyway. So thank you guys for talking with me. I'm gonna post that video. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted or anything, but I really want to post that video, um, just so you guys can see, because she is not only a good dancer, but she is so cute. So I wanna post. And if you guys know who she is, like please let me know too. I don't know if any of you know, but yeah. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please like it so I can see that you do. And if you want to see more, then hit subscribe and become part of the YouTube fam. And I've got um, some more news I can't share just yet, but I will very, very, very soon. So yeah, thank you guys. Have a good day or a good night. And please be safe. Continue to be safe and wash your hands. And tomorrow is bright. So let's build it today. All right. Bye, you guys. Bye.